Hi everyone, this is Tara from Tara's Treasure Trove. Today I'm going to be showing you a Cricut Design Space process video, and I am a close to my heart consultant. So the first thing, if you were going to do this project, you would need to get the Cricut cartridge from Close to My Heart, which if you're on my website you could click here at the top where it says new Close to My Heart specials every month, or shop CTMH, or down here at the bottom where it says shop CTMH. Any of those will take you to my Close to My Heart website. From there you're going to want to click on shop, and then you're going to go on the left side to Cricut collections, digital collections, and I am using the You Are Here digital collection. Now I love the digital collections. I love the Cricut collections from Close to My Heart. They have literally hundreds of images. You can see here on the right it says 700 images, including shapes, titles, phrases, and font. Every cartridge comes with a font. Every cartridge has hundreds of images and shapes, and every cartridge comes with 3 full-size stamp sets. These are D-size stamp sets, which are some of our more expensive stamp sets. So this really is a great value. It's $69, and my recommendation is to host a Close to My Heart party to get your Cricut cartridge, because if your party has $250 worth of sales, you get one 50% off item. So you can actually spend about $35 and get all of these things. Now I've seen Cricut cartridges in the craft store for $25–30 that don't even have 100 images on them, and certainly don't come with stamp sets. So this is a phenomenal deal, especially if you can get it as a discounted item through that party. But we're going to be in Design Space. You can really do, you can do this process with any images, but I'm just showing you what I'm doing. All right, so if I go down here on the left to images, it's going to pull up all the images available for me to purchase, or ones that I've already purchased. I'm going to narrow this down by cartridges, and I'm going to go to filter, and I'm going to pull up purchased. Now that's going to bring up all of the cartridges that I own, and mostly all I own is Close to My Heart, or what Cricut has provided for me. So I would choose the You Are Here cartridge. It says 320 images, but there's different shapes and things that you can use, so it works out to 700 when you look at everything. But you can see here, I'm just slowly scrolling through. There is an amazing amount of images on here for just about anything you want to do. Holidays, traveling, all kinds of stuff. There's yoga poses, there's sports related things, there's lovely little sayings, and just all kinds of stuff. But what I used was I'm sorry, I'm on my laptop, so the scrolling is really tricky with my fingers. But what I used, here it is the clamshell, and that is M276 to F9F. So if you write down that and you have this cartridge, you could go into search in Close to My Heart You Are Here and just put in that number. You could also put seashell or clamshell, and it would just bring up that image, but I wanted to show it to you. So I'm going to click on that. Whoops, let's get out of that. Click on this and say insert image, and then it's going to pull that image into my canvas here. Okay, there it is. Now the first thing that I did was I hit this little unlock, and I changed the size. So size over here, I wanted it to fit an A2 card. So that makes your width 5.5 by 4.25. So 5.5 inches along, and then 4.25 tall. And that will make it so that your easel card can fit into a regular standard envelope. So now this image, of course, we're going to need multiple pieces. So I am going to go ahead and duplicate this image. I'm going to move it over here. This one I'm going to set aside because we will need a full complete image, but we also need this one over here. We're going to ungroup. And that way we can pull the top piece off of here. Now what we're going to do with this maroon piece here, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so that you can see, oops, what I'm doing. I want to take this little bump off the bottom here, right here. I'm going to take that bump off. So I'm not an expert in Design Space. This might not be the right way to do things, but this is how I do it and it works for me. I am going to go find shapes. I'm going to pull a square. I'm going to grab this square. I'm going to shrink it down. And I'm going to take the top of that square and I'm going to line it up with the bottom edge here of my seashell. See how it lines up? So it covers that little bump. Now I'm going to click on the square and then I'm going to hit Control and click on the clamshell so they're both selected. Then I'm going to come down to the right, I'm going to say Slice. Okay, so I'm going to pull, now you see there's a line here, I'm going to pull this seashell away. Now the seashell no longer has that little bump, and I am going to make a square around all these so it'll pick all these leftover pieces, and then I'm going to hit X and get rid of them. So now I have, oops, I have two pieces here. I have the shell and then the shell with the base. So this one here, that's the original image, that is going to be the top of my card. This one is going to go on the bottom of the card. And really, you don't have to have this piece, but I find that it adds extra support for the base. So I wanted both. But I need to get rid of that bump because when you open the card, you don't want the two bumps to be going against each other and getting bent up. So now I still have this piece over here. And what I need to do is I need to make this orange piece here into a card. So we're going to go ahead and right click and we're going to say duplicate. Now I have two of these, right? So now I'm going to flip one of them vertically. See, now I have two of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line these up. Now I don't know if the sides of these line up exactly. You see it looks a little crooked. But what you can do is you can click on the first one and you go to position, and if you do 0, 0, then that is going to line that first one up into this top corner, right? So now this one, we're going to line it up so the bottoms are where we want them, right? Just kind of line it up here so that the bottoms are, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can see that better. We're going to line these up so that the bottoms touch where we want them, kind of like that. And I'm going to go to position, and I'm going to make sure the position on this one, the X position, which is the side over here, is 0. That way I know that both of these clamshells line up exactly side to side so that these bottoms match. Now I'm going to click on both of them at the same time. So click one, hit Control on your keyboard, click the other, and then I am actually going to weld these together. Okay? See how it makes one clamshell piece now? And that's all it takes. So that's going to basically be our card. So now what do I want to do? Well, we want to make a tab for our easel, and then we also want to have some score lines. So I think the very first thing that I'm going to do is the score line. I go over here to shapes. I'm sorry I had to change the size of my screen because it wasn't showing up, but here is the score line. Hopefully you'll be able to see it better on your screen than I can on mine. And the score line pops up right here. Now we need our score line to be horizontal, so we are going to go to flip. No, not flip. We're going to go to rotate 90 degrees. Now it's horizontal. So now I just want to kind of put that score line where I need it to go. I just kind of eyeball it. You could use the positioning to do it, but yeah, I just kind of eyeball it. And then I am going to just duplicate that instead of going down to shapes and finding another one. I'm just going to duplicate that one because I'm already right there. And I want to make sure, because this fits a 2x3 photo, so I want to make sure that it's 3 inches above this bottom score line. So I'm going to go over to position, and I'm going to see what the Y position is, which is 4.167. So then I want to make sure that this top one is positioned at 1.167. And that should be exactly 3 inches. So now I'm going to stretch it out to make sure that it, oh, see, and I moved it. I got to reposition it. That it covers the top of my clamshell, 1.167. Okay. So that should put everything exactly where I want it. Now that we have our score lines where we want them, we need to create our tab. I'm going to start by pulling a shape, which is this rectangle. And I'm going to recolor this rectangle because I'm going to use it as a reference point. Now I need to use the unlock feature so that I can resize it. I'm going to make it 2 inches wide because that is the width of the photo I'll be inserting later. I'm going to make it 1.167 inches high because that is the measurement of where my score line is. Then I'm going to move it so that it is directly in the center of the card at the top. To figure out the center, I'm going to take the width of the card, which is 5.5, minus the 2 inches that I'm using for the tab. So that leaves me with 3.5. And then I'm going to divide that by 2 to figure out where I need to line this rectangle up. So 3.5 divided by 2 is 1.75, and then 0 for the Y so that it goes to the top. See how it's exactly in the center now, and it's lined up at the top, and the bottom is lined up with the score line. Now I need to pull a second shape, and this shape is the one I'm actually going to slice with. So again, I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to make it 1.75 inches wide and 1.167 inches high. And then I'm going to move it to the 0, 0 axis. That puts it right here in the top corner. I'm going to select that square, I'm going to select this shape here, the clamshell shape, and I'm going to go down to the bottom right and choose Slice. Now I can pull all of these away, and look, now I have part of a tab. So I'm just going to delete these. And see, now I have that perfect tab space right there. I'm going to send this to the back, move backward so we can see our reference point here again. I need to pull another shape, and I'm going to unlock it. Again, I'm going to make it 1.75 inches wide, 1.167 inches high. This one I'm going to reposition. It's going to be 3.75, so 1.75 plus 2 for the tab area, and then 0. And that's going to put it on the other side. Then I'm going to select that rectangle plus this clamshell, and again I'm going to hit Slice. I'm going to pull all these bits away, and you can see now we have our tab. Now I can get rid of my reference rectangle, so I'm going to move this clamshell to the back, send to back. I'm going to pull this away and delete it. I'm going to grab these two score lines, and I'm going to grab this clamshell, and I'm going to attach. So now I can move this anywhere in the project, and those lines will not come away from this. Now, if you want to add the piece for the sentiment, I'm going to go back here to this original, and I'm going to duplicate it so that I have another clamshell here. I'm going to go to the top right and go ungroup, and I'm going to delete that top piece so that I just have a base here. I'm going to flip it vertical. I'm going to change the color so that it matches the, because I'm going to cut it out of the same cardstock that I cut these other two top pieces. And now I need to slice and dice. Now this part I just kind of eyeball it, but again I'm working with slicing and dicing. So I'm going to pull that rectangle, or that square, I'm going to make it a rectangle, right? And then I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, I think. Move this over here a little bit. I think I want it to be right about there. So I'm going to make sure I select both of these and do slice. I'm going to pull this piece away and I'm going to get rid of all of the others. Just delete them. And now I'm going to pull this over here and I am going to just shrink it up a little bit, just a little. And then find a spot where I think it lines up nicely. And this whole part, I just eyeball. I just go till I think it looks nice. I don't need a huge border around it, I just want a little tiny border. That to me looks nice. And now I want to take this little bit and I want to duplicate it, and then I want to recolor it white. And I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to line it up, I'm going to shrink it up just a teeny tiny bit, not a lot, just a little, and then I'm going to place it where I think it will go when I glue it together. See, just a little bit of border, just to add a little something. I need to add the text. So I'm going to click text. I am going to type in enjoy the little things, and I do have my caps lock on. I'm going to go ahead and center align that. Then I'm going to find my font, and I am going to go to Cricut, filter, my fonts, and then I'm going to also add writing. I'm going to choose the You Are Here font, and then I want to make sure line type, it will default to cut, you want it to say draw. So I am going to shrink this up and figure out where I want it on my little clamshell here, center it as best as I like, and again this bit I'm just eyeballing till oops, sorry, I made a mistake, I moved the piece instead of the font. Okay, text, let's move this. Yep, that looks good to me. There, and that is the entire project. So it does take a little bit of time. Once you figure out how things work, it's not that hard, but that is how I slice and dice and manipulate these images from the digital cartridges to do what I want with them, basically. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, give my video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you like these kinds of videos, let me know, and I will make sure to do more of them. And other than that, I hope you have fun crafting, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks!